Hello and welcome to Channel 2S, everybody. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and after a month of absolutely nothing, it's time for an episode of Gunpla News. Now, this is a special episode of Gunpla News because I am recording this live on the Krowcast. So if you don't know what the Krowcast is, it's a podcast. It's me, it's Crow-sama. This is like our second episode of the podcast, so we're still pretty crap at it, but hopefully we'll get better. So, of course, because this is the Krowcast, I am joined by Crow-sama.
Yeah. So I am the Crow-sama. Basically just do some videos, some skits, and we talk.
Yes, and also as a bit of a disclaimer for my audience, we are recording this Discord call basically across the entire width of the planet, so Crow might chop out from time to time, but we're just going to have to deal with that. But first, before we get any further, we have to thank our mutual sponsor, Newtype HQ. Now, Newtype HQ has been sponsoring both Crow and myself for a while, and in case this is maybe the first video of mine you've seen, or you just need a refresher for some reason, Newtype HQ is a US-based Gunpla store where you can get your kits, paint, supplies. They have a huge selection of all sorts of great Gunpla stuff. I really recommend them. There's a link in the description below, and if you use code Channel2S or code Crow-sama, you'll get 10% off your first order. So we are starting Gunpla News tonight with a little bit of box art. There's actually a fair amount of box art that I haven't talked about yet, but we're just going to be talking about this one here because this is the Jupitive Gundam. This is a kit that's coming out next month in January. I think this looks awesome. This is one of the only kits I've seen from Re-Rise so far that really has my attention.
I'm kind of, on a meh side, but I think a little bit of paint is going to go a long way.
So next we have the B pack and the K pack for the Gundam F90. This is I believe the third set of F90 upgrades we've gotten, and I think this one actually looks really cool. The missiles, the shield, these look awesome.
Yeah, and I don't think like you really are supposed to only do it with just like one pack on one model. I think they kind of want you to mix and match a little bit because the shield one, I'm looking at the K, the shield looks great, but I'm like it's definitely missing something. So maybe add some weapons from the other packs to, make the K a little bit better.
That is a really good point, actually. Like, you take those leg missiles maybe off the B pack, slap them on the K.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so now we're going to talk about a little something, the Master Grade / Zaku Phantom. Now, unfortunately, this kit is P-Bandai. However, the good news is basically everything else, because this kit looks awesome, and not only does this kit look awesome, this is a kit that we have needed for like 20 years. It has been a long, long time since Gundam Seed Destiny first aired, and at the time, the only kit we got of the /Zaku Phantom was a single crappy 1144th no grade.
I mean, this thing, it's like they throw Gatling guns on it, and they're like, oh, that's not enough for you? All right, here's a giant beam scythe.
Yeah, like, can we talk about the fact that not only is this a giant beam battle axe, which is what I always thought it was, but it transforms from the battle axe. Hold on, I got to show you the next picture because this is so cool. It transforms from the battle axe into a freaking scythe. That is awesome. I didn't even know he could do that. You know why? Because they didn't make a kit of the damn thing for 15, 20 years. And this is also a 2020 release. I don't have the exact release dates for them handy as I'm making this video, but if you scroll down in the description, I will have the exact release dates, month, year, all that, down there in the description, so you can go ahead and check that out. Okay, so big hype moment for 2020, Gundam IBO is back. Now, not necessarily in the form of a new show or anything like that, but we are getting a new IBO Gundam of one of the other Calamity War Gundams that we'd never seen before. So this is the Calamity War version of the Gundam from that IBO mobile game that we all thought was going to be a Season 3 2 years ago. And I don't remember the name of this. I think it's called like Marchosias or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Marchosias. Something like that.
Maybe it's just because I haven't seen an IBO design in a while, but this kind of almost feels like a mix of a bunch of different designs. I kind of feel like I'm looking at like a Barbatos combined with a Gujion Rebake Full City, combined with a Gundam Bale, combined with an Astaroth kind of deal.
That's actually extremely fair to say.
Yeah, so it's a little derivative, but I still think it's a pretty awesome looking design. Now, you can tell just by looking at the amount of color detail on this that this thing is going to be sticker hell, but it's still pretty awesome looking.
Yeah, and some of it's probably not going to be stickers. Like they're probably just going to leave it the part color, and they'll just like, hey, figure it out.
Now, I do think his weapon is a little bit uninspired compared to some of the really cool stuff we got in IBO proper, but I mean, it's a big hunk of metal. That's kind of the standard. And the signature gimmick of this Gundam is that it doesn't just have one set of sub-arms. it has 2. However, judging by this picture, it does look like he only has 5 swords, so I guess he can't really go with everything, but if you pick up one of those IBO option
He has
sets...
6.
Oh, he does have 6, because in the picture I'm looking at here, he's got the 4 small knives in his subarms and then the 1 sword.
And then he has the big fat one.
See, I'm not sure if that's a separate weapon, or if that's something else slid on top of the sword.
Oh, yeah. You might be right.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer that he doesn't have all 6 swords, but you can just grab an IBO pack, maybe the one that has the battle axes or whatever, throw it on there, and you'll have a full set of weapons for him. So let's talk about, I don't know, is May your favorite, Crow?
She's okay, but she has as much personality as my cardboard cutout of Dana DeVito.
Well, I mean, based off these pictures, she is a robot, so you can't really be too hard on her. So as you can see by the picture on screen, we are getting a model kit of the mobile doll May. Now, this is something that I wasn't necessarily aware of because I kind of dropped Build Divers Re-Rise after 4 episodes, but I guess May is a mobile doll like Sarah was.
Yeah, so, I mean, do you want spoilers?
I don't really care at this point.
All right, so with May, she is essentially like the mobile doll, like Sarah. Whenever like they took her essence, like her AI, put it into like this little small figure. Same concept. They just make a new one.
So I guess this is kind of cool. I wasn't really that interested in the previous mobile doll. This one's okay as well, I guess. But if you're a fan of those kind of anime girl waifu style models we've been getting with the more recent build series, you might enjoy this. All right, so next we'll talk about something that's actually pretty cool to see because this is official confirmation that the Varg Wheel is an actual kit that's being made. So we saw this thing on display all the way back when they announced the Moon Gundam. It kind of seemed like it was going to be a kit at first, but then it turned out that it was basically just something they threw up on the display there to demonstrate that you could make it into a Varg Wheel if you were a good enough customizer. I guess they realized that a lot of people were disappointed by that because now it's a P-Bandai kit.
I mean, you got the only difference I'm seeing is some of the knee parts, the head, the weapon, and backpack.
Yeah, that looks like about it. Now, the cool thing about the backpack is that the funnels do actually work, but overall, I feel like if you already have the Moon Gundam, I don't know if this is necessarily that important of a pickup. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting kit. This is like a symmetrical version of the Celtsam.
It's called the Tertium.
When I first saw the initial magazine image of this, I actually thought it was a Throne Gundam, because when you look at that head, you look at that torso with the silhouette of the arms, the legs, especially when it's got that shield on the back, it really looks like a Throne Gundam. Now, a little bit of interesting trivia is that now that the Celtsium's out, people have been saying that there are actually runners on it that are labeled Mark III, so it is possible we could be getting an actual high-grade Mark III out of this. But yeah, I mean, this looks pretty cool. It doesn't have the giant murder arm, but judging by some of the reviews I've seen of the Celtsium, that's not exactly a huge draw for it anyways.
It looks all right, but I don't think it's going to improve on the Celtsam at all.
It uses my least favorite Gunpla color ever, which is that hideous purpley gray, not for the frame like a lot of older high grades do, but for the whole damn kit.
No, I completely agree. The colors are not really that great.
So let's talk about something really awesome that I didn't think was going to happen, but I'm so glad it did, and that is the high-grade Geminass. Now, unfortunately, this is another one of those P-Bandai kits that is an absolutely new mold. It sucks, but that's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah, I think people are just accepting it. They're like, you know what, Bandai is going to keep screwing us over. Oh well, we're still going to keep buying.
Yeah, that's how it is. I mean, when you look at like Tamashii Nations, they've been making brand new figures as web exclusives for like 10 years now, so it's not really that big a stretch. As long as they don't compromise the quality of the kit or the engineering in order to make it P-Bandai, I don't really mind. Like, that was my big problem with a lot of the older P-Bandai kits, is sometimes they would just really cheap out on the new parts if it was P-Bandai. But now I think they're doing that less and less, and this could be a pretty cool kit. So as far as we know so far, this next kit, even though it's just as obscure as the Geminass, is actually a retail release. This is the Gundam Unit 4, also known as, well, nothing, because this thing doesn't have an actual name. It's just the RX78 4.
Yeah, I think everything's tentative. I don't think it has a release date or a price tag as of right now.
You guys are probably familiar with this already. Even though it's pretty obscure, it did get a master grade way back in the day, as well as its companion suit, the Gundam 05, which is my personal favorite because it adds a Gatling gun. Now, looking at the body of this thing, I'm pretty sure it's probably based off the RX-78 Revive.
I want to say yes, but I'm really not. I can't say for certain.
See, it's hard to tell because there's not a lot of RX78 materials on it, but I want it to be revived. It would make sense. It would surprise me if they didn't find a way to reuse that mold because they really haven't. They really haven't done much of anything to utilize what is pretty much one of their best high-grade molds ever. So I'd certainly hope that this uses it.
That's an instant buy, though. Everything about this looks amazing.
Oh yeah, it looks great. Now, unfortunately, the fact that this is retail kind of guarantees that my preferred version, the Gundam 5, is going to be P-Bandai, but you know what? It's still pretty awesome that it exists at all. So the next kit we're going to be looking at is another P-Bandai kit, another new mold one, but I think this is really going to surprise a lot of people because this is a brand new Re-100 Shokew. Yeah, the Shokew from Victory Gundam. This is a really obscure kit. It's not really something they can retool into anything else, at least I don't think so. But I was really surprised to see this be pretty much the first new mold P-Bandai Re-100. And it almost makes me feel bad for Victory Gundam. I mean, imagine being so unwanted that the line whose literal sole purpose is to house all the Master Grade rejects still makes you P-Bandai.
It doesn't look that great, though. I mean, to be fair.
Now, mind you, this is a prototype. This isn't the final version of the kit by any means, but I'm just not seeing a lot of detail on here at all, and it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it does come with a really cool beam effect, though, that's like, I guess it spins around like a helicopter.
So yeah, I wish I grabbed pictures of that, because that sounds cool the way you're describing it, but I don't actually have a picture of that to show. So the Shokew is a little bit under-detailed for a Re-100, but it's still interesting to see such a unique design come out at the 1/100 scale, and it's pretty cool to see more from Victory Gundam that's not just, you know, a Gundam. Alright, so next we have something that I am surprised took Bandai 5 whole years to make, and that is a high-grade RX78, the Origin version. I don't even mean that as like, how dare they wait this long? I'm just impressed that they could carry a line for that long without an RX78 too. I think that really speaks to the quality of the Origin line as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much all Xeon with a few little GMs here and there, but I mean, this is just going to add to that entire line of, you know, just fantastic kits.
It has a lot of the same features as the Master Grade. We still have the shoulder cannon and the prototype beam rifle. And honestly, I don't remember the Origin Master Grade coming with a bazooka. Was that a thing?
I don't remember that. I don't think mine has that.
Well, there's an incentive to get the high grade, I guess.
Plus, it comes with all those nice little stickers, which I know they might not be the best, but the Origin line usually has some pretty good stickers.
The RX78-2 Revive is pretty much the gold standard for beginner kits. It's the one everyone recommends to beginners. This really might supersede it.
Yeah, this might go down as like one of those kits that people just always turn to, like, hey, you haven't built this kit, build this thing.
So continuing on with the Origin kits, we have one of my favorite Zaku variants, and that is the Zaku Desert type. Now, in true Origin fashion, this is not the real Zaku Desert type. I'm sure we'll get that in like 6 months after we've all bought this version. But for now, it's a pretty cool substitute.
It looks, I don't know, it looks nasty.
Really? I love the Desert Zaku. I think it's one of the coolest Zaku variants. I like it a lot more than the cannon and the tank versions.
It looks like poo.
I think you need to see a doctor. Poop should not look like that.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're pooping out sand-colored Zakus, I got some bad news for you, man. But yeah, this is coming out P-Bandai, unfortunately, but it's the Desert Zaku, and the only version we had prior to this was an old no-grade kit and a very, very expensive Robot Damashi that goes for crazy money on the secondary market because apparently there's a lot of other people that like this design as much as I do. Alright, so now we're going to take a little break from the cool stuff to talk about the cross-silhouette Barbatos Rex. Now, not to say that this isn't cool, but compared to some of the stuff we'll be talking about in just a couple minutes, it's kind of not that cool. And I had to stick it in first just so we don't end the episode on a lame note.
This is definitely like the coolest cross silhouette kit, period. I mean, it's fantastic. Look at it. Colors look great. Everything's popping. Has a giant mace.
I highly doubt that those fingers are actually going to be painted. I'm kind of doubting that those little yellow vents on the knees are going to be
Bandai
properly colored in. Like, I love the cross silhouette line, and I have absolute faith in their ability to do great color separation, but I feel like the Barbatos Rex is one of those designs like the Zeta Gundam where they'll still have to cut a couple corners.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the toes. The toes actually might be separate pieces.
Oh, the toes are 100% separate pieces. The only yellow pieces that I think are absolutely guaranteed to be plastic are the toes, the tail, and the V-fin. Hey, so pardon the lower quality of the audio in this section, but I was just editing together the video, and I realized that I actually missed a couple kits while we were recording the podcast. So in addition to all the kits we talked about already, we are also going to be getting a high-grade Cosmic Era Infinite Justice next year. Now I have to keep this part quick because this video is already pretty far behind when it should have been uploaded. But yeah, we're basically getting the Infinite Justice that everyone was kind of speculating about back when we saw the Justice Knight reveal. Now I thought this was pretty unlikely, but it turns out it's happening, and I think it's pretty cool. The color separation definitely looks a lot better, and I mean a lot better than the old high-grade Seed kit. Remember, on the original Seed kit, these wings on the backpack were completely black, and all this stuff, this was all stickers. It was a nightmare. So I can already tell by looking at this thing, it's just going to be so much better than the old kit. And what I think is even better than getting an updated version of an old kit is getting a brand new kit of a suit we never got a kit of before, and that's what we're getting with the other kit that I missed, and that is the Windam. Now, despite Seed's popularity, we never actually got to see a real model kit of the Windam in any grade at all. This thing didn't even get a no grade. But in 2020, we're finally getting the Windam, the Jet Windam specifically, which has this nice new backpack that presumably is going to be compatible with all the other kits that use the Striker Pack connector. Color separation looks pretty great. I did a little bit of detective work around the face, and I'm pretty sure that the black on his Vulcans is molded in plastic, and so is the gray on the Vulcans on the chest. I'm pretty sure a fair amount of this teal is going to be colored in plastic as well, although I'm not sure about that little triangle on his head. The overall look of this kit is absolutely awesome because yes, it's a grunt suit, but remember, this is a Seed grunt suit, and Seed takes everything to the extreme. This thing basically looks like a Gundam just with a visor instead of eyes. So pretty awesome looking kit. Kind of bummed I didn't get to chat about this one in the Infinite Justice with Crow, but oh well, what can you do? So finally, before we close out this video, well, actually I've got two kits to show you, but the next one I'm going to show you is the kit that pretty much cemented 2020 as one of the best years for Gunpla, right behind 2019. And that is because, if you remember, around this time last year, we got the announcement of a Master Grade Dynames, which, coincidentally, just like this year, was also just enough to get me out of my hibernation and actually make a damn video for once. But next year, in 2020, we're getting the Master Grade Kyrios. And man, this kit looks beautiful.
Obviously, it's in a prototype state, so the molding doesn't look, smooth or that great. But you could see those details. Oh, that shield.
This looks like it's going to be just as amazing as the Dynames. But yeah, obviously this is going to do much better with the transformation. It looks like it's probably going to use a lot of engineering from the Dynames as well. I have no doubt that they're going to keep the LED gimmick they've done for all the previous 00 kits. And here's the part where the speculation gets interesting. Everyone's saying Virtue is going to be next. I think that before they do Virtue and Nodley, they're going to do an Exia 2.0. And if they use this frame for it, that could be an awesome kit.
Could be the best kit.
Could be. And finally, the last kit of the night, 40 minutes into this recording. I am going to hate myself tomorrow when I have to go through and edit this, but we have the real grade Force Impulse Gundam. Gotta be honest with you guys, I never would have guessed this would be a thing. Force Impulse has never been high on my list of real grades, not only that I would want to get, but even that I would expect Bandai to make. But I gotta say, I'm intrigued. Now, I'm not exactly super hyped for it because we did get a pretty awesome high grade of it just a few years ago, but still, if they can make it with their modern real grade magic... Wait, what?
That was last year, right?
Force Impulse was like at least 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, you're right. 2016. You proved.
Yep, there we go. 3 minutes just to prove me right. So yeah, I can't say I'm super hyped for the real grade. The high grade was pretty cool, but you know what? It's a real grade. Real grades tend to have pretty cool engineering. Maybe they'll do this justice. I am definitely expecting them to improve some of the little things about the high grade that weren't quite right. I'm definitely expecting the red on the wings to be proper color separation, and I'm also expecting the shield gimmick to actually be fully functional this time. I know it's kind of weird to give like a review style verdict this early on with the kit when no one's even had it in hand yet, but I really feel like this is the kind of kit where it's the way to go for the Force Impulse if you don't already have the high grade, but I don't necessarily know if this is going to be worth the upgrade if you already do have the high grade.
Seeing the track record of the RG line, I'm probably banking that this is going to be something that is going to be really amazing.
So anyways, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of Gunpla News. If you wanted to see the full unedited or mostly unedited version of this, because even the podcast has to have some of our agony removed, there was literally a full 3-minute segment that was just total silence as Crow looked up the release date of the high-grade Force Impulse on Dalong and revealed to me that he has never actually used Dalong before. So that was interesting. But yeah, if you want to see that whole thing, it's going to be up on Crow-sama's channel. the Krowcast episode 2, I think it is. You know what? Since it's been basically a month since I've done one of these, I'm going to let Krosama do the outro this time and hope he doesn't screw it up as badly as I did.
Oh, I just caught the ball. Here we go. So, guys, thanks for watching. 2S, if you came to this channel, then you know what you're getting. You're getting some awesome news. Now, if you come over to my channel, you are not going to get any news, actually. You're just going to get some crazy stunts and skits and some reviews. Check me out, but also, give this video a like and give some 2S love.
Take care, guys.
Sounds good.